Welcome back to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive, and I mean absolute game changer of a topic for anyone in the Microsoft ecosystem. We are digging deep into the study guide for exam AB-210, which is all about accelerating sales pipelines with AI in Dynamics 365. If your goal is to become a certified AI-enhanced sales solution designer, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the entire strategic lead-to-cash process, highlight the absolute core components of the syllabus, and, most importantly, I am going to point out some very common exam traps and mistakes that candidates make so you can steer right around them.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, AB-210 exam essentials. Then, core sales and AI setup. Third, AI scoring versus traditional forecasts. Fourth, leads versus opportunity management. And finally, number 5, extending Dynamics 365 sales. Let's get right to it. All right, Section 1, AB-21 Exam Essentials. Before you even think about configuring a single AI agent, you've got to understand the fundamental mechanics of the exam itself.
700. Burn that number into your brain. According to the official scoring reports, a score of 700 or greater is the absolute minimum requirement to pass the AB-210. That's the ultimate threshold. You don't need to be 100% perfect, but you absolutely have to be highly proficient across every single objective domain to cross that finish line.
Now, to actually hit that 700, you need to fully embody the target audience profile. Microsoft officially defines this role as an AI-enhanced sales solution designer. Basically, you are the professional who translates business requirements into practical, everyday workflows for sellers. Workflows that are supercharged with things like conversational intelligence, predictive insights, guided automation, and of course, secure data access. You're essentially the architect here, helping sellers work smarter and faster through the entire lead-to-cash pipeline. Now, what's really interesting here is the incredibly heavy emphasis on intelligent research. Look at that top row. Developing deals by using intelligent opportunity research accounts for a massive 25 to 30% of your total score. It's literally the heaviest weighted section on the entire syllabus. A huge trap that candidates fall into is spending all of their study time over-indexing on basic core configurations, which, as you can see, is only 15 to 20%, while completely ignoring the deep dive into intelligent opportunity management. We're going to make sure you don't make that mistake. Moving right along to Section 2, Core Sales and AI Setup. Even though it's not the biggest chunk of the exam, it's the bedrock. You simply cannot build a smart AI house on a broken foundation. You've got to master these core prerequisites. We're talking about configuring mailboxes, setting up business process flows, configuring the timeline, and evaluating data import and export options. Plus, you need to understand the sales security model and know how to hook up Microsoft 365 functionality like Teams, SharePoint, Outlook, and OneDrive. A super common exam mistake is forgetting that these traditional, baseline Dynamics 365 settings are an absolute prerequisite for deploying any of the advanced AI agents. Oh, and speaking of prerequisites, if you thought you could escape the Power Platform, well, think again. Intermediate-level Power Platform configuration knowledge is highly recommended. You really must have a functional working knowledge of building and extending model-driven apps, along with building Power Automate cloud flows. Honestly, if you're a bit shaky on Power Platform basics, you're definitely going to struggle with the AB-210.
Which brings us to Section 3, AI scoring versus traditional forecasts. This is one of the most easily confused topics on the syllabus and a major pitfall.
So, ask yourself this. Where do traditional sales features actually end, and where do AI predictive features begin? On the exam, they love to give you scenarios and ask you to choose the exact right feature. If you confuse a traditional manual goal metric with dynamic predictive scoring, you will absolutely lose points, no question.
And this brilliantly illustrates that exact difference. Traditional forecasts and goals are static, right? They involve configuring manual goal metrics, tracking sales performance the old-fashioned way, and defining standard sales plans. AI predictive scoring, on the other hand, is entirely dynamic. It's about fine-tuning machine learning models so the system can analyze historical data and actively generate predictive insights on your leads and opportunities. The exam is going to test your ability to configure both, but you absolutely must know which one solves which specific business requirement.
Beyond just predictive scoring, the optimized AI-driven sales portion of the exam, which is a solid 20 to 25% of your score, requires you to configure a whole suite of AI tools. You've got to know how to augment seller workflows using Copilot, configure the sales accelerator, set up conversational and relationship intelligence, and handle Copilot features like record summarization. Your ultimate job as a solution designer is to make sure these AI optimizations perfectly align with the company's revenue goals.
All right, Section 4, leads versus opportunity management. We're moving from the top of the sales funnel down toward closing the deal.
So, the crucial point here, and this is a big one, is understanding the distinct roles of the different AI agents. The sales qualification agent is strictly for generating, nurturing, and automating lead qualification. You'll need to know when to use research-only mode versus research and engage mode. On the flip side, the sales close agent is for automating deal closing, managing opportunity pipelines, and coordinating with opportunity products and pricing. A huge, and I mean huge, exam trap is applying a qualification agent capability to an opportunity scenario. Keep leads and opportunities strictly separated in your mind.
Just as a quick reminder of what we saw a few minutes ago, developing deals using intelligent opportunity research accounts for a massive 25 to 30% of your exam. This is where you really need to double down on your study efforts. You have to know how to coordinate opportunity management with that sales close agent we were just talking about. And part of that massive 30% chunk involves gathering intelligence on sales deals. To pull that off, you use a third distinct agent, the sales research agent. The exam is going to test if you can evaluate use cases for this agent, correctly configure it, and analyze sales performance using the research canvas. You really need to understand how these different agents talk to each other to give sellers the full 360-degree picture of a deal. Next up, Section 5. Extending Dynamics 365 sales. This part makes up 10 to 15% of the exam.
First off, you're going to be tested on configuring supporting communication apps and services. This means knowing exactly how to deploy and configure the sales mobile app, setting up Teams calling for integrated comms, and configuring an SMS channel. It's really all about making sure sellers can connect with buyers wherever they happen to be, using AI-enhanced tools across multiple different platforms. Let's move on and see how this builds into the broader ecosystem. You also need to know how to expand the whole sales footprint using the Microsoft Power Platform. That means knowing how to create Power Automate flows for custom automation, embedding Power Apps components directly into the sales interface, and pulling in Power BI reports for advanced data visualization. Basically, this ties right back into that intermediate Power Platform prerequisite we touched on earlier.
Finally, conclusion, your study game plan. Because having the technical knowledge is one thing, but executing a solid strategy to actually pass the exam is another entirely.
Before we even talk about study materials, here's a little pro tip straight from the official study guide. Some exams are localized into other languages. But if the exam isn't available in your preferred language, you can actually request an additional 30 minutes to complete it. Seriously, do not leave free time on the table if you qualify for this accommodation. You can easily request this right in the schedule exam section.
To make sure you are 100% ready for test day, I highly recommend this simple 3-step study strategy. Step 1. Get hands-on in the exam sandbox. The guide gives you a link to explore the actual testing environment, so the UI doesn't surprise you on the big day. Step 2. Hit Microsoft Learn. Connect your certification profile and power through the self-paced learning paths specifically designed for Dynamics 365 sales. And Step 3. Engage the Microsoft Dynamics community for support, tips, and real-world scenario breakdowns.
Keep your eyes strictly focused on the prize. A score of 700 or greater is required to pass. By really internalizing the difference between traditional metrics and AI scoring, keeping your lead agents completely distinct from your opportunity agents, and mastering both the core configuration and those Power Platform extensions, getting that 700 is well within your reach.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to architect the future of sales and totally ace the AB-210 exam? The tools are all right there in the study guide. Now it's just up to you to put in the focused study time. Good luck with your preparation. Be sure to avoid those common traps we talked about today, and I just know you're going to crush it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.